with all this drama. Like you supposed to be my mama. And you supposed to be my sister. And you supposed to be my brother. Loving one another. I thought, but nowadays I'm caught deep in thought. Cause saints don't act like they are. Take me back, Lord, to the first. When family reunion was on Sunday.
All right.
Things seem strange instead of familiar. Instead of other fire. Saints want to kill you. See you dying. And I'm crying out for
And good morning. We're live, fellas.
Hello.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our August edition of the Coach's Corner with your co-host Wayne Moody and Oliver Blue. And you may be asking, well, there's a third gentleman on here today, and and so today we are here in this trio because we have brought to the stage with us today one of our dear friends and fellow coaches consultant, John EBRON. We're so excited that he has joined us this morning. Good morning, John.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here. How's everybody doing?
All right. Good morning, Wayne.
Good. Like they say in beliefs, we say good morning, buenos dias, buite finafe, ciao, shalom.
All right.
You know,
so you got to take a deep breath before you give your
several languages in my country.
All right. Well, thank you and welcome to the communities in which we serve. And, you know, the purpose of our platform, as we have shared in the past, is that Wayne and I are so adamant about adding value and building goodwill into the communities that we serve. And so we are on each month to share some nugget or some idea or to just conversate around how we can help our communities to expand their awareness and change their results. And as you all know, Wayne is this world changer from the country of Belize, and how this project kid from North Carolina hooked up with him. It could only be a work of God. And then by way of introduction to Wayne, with Wayne, I met John, and we're going to let John kind of give us a little brief background of who he is and what he does. And so now you got the trio here of coaches. So, John, why don't you just share just a little bit about, something that you would want the audience to know about you, what you do, and why you do it, why you're so passionate about what you do.
Awesome. Well, hello, world. My name is John EBRON. I'm also a North Carolina kid, an EC kid.
Yes.
I am originally from, I claim Greenville because you can find it on the map, but I'm actually a little city right next to Greenville called Bethel. Right now, we're teaming with about 2,600 people, so saith the census. I think the census is not telling the whole truth. I don't think there's that many people there, to be honest with you. But born and raised in North Carolina, I am a 20-year service vet. I served 20 years in the Chaplains Corps, and half of that 20 years, I got the opportunity to serve as what we called a master resilience trainer, which is essentially like being a life coach embedded into the Army, right? So that's what got me started on this journey of personal growth and development for myself and being a conduit for others, helping them grow themselves. My area of emphasis and expertise and passion is in leadership development, because when you think about growing yourself personally and maximizing who you are, you're naturally going to influence other people. And so leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. That's what we teach in my little community, my universe of the Maxwell Leadership Institute, where I got my initial certifications from. So I'm all about helping people grow and maximize and being their true self, understanding who they are, but then taking it further and being a positive influence with others. So that's my gig.
All right. Well, Wayne and I know personally the impact that you're having in the communities that you serve, as well as your heartfelt passion for helping others, and we're glad to be in your stratosphere.
God bless you.
So yes, yes. So Wayne, how
Yes,
about
sir.
yeah? Well, how about giving everyone an update on what's around the bend for you?
Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yes.
So I say I'm in beast mode. I'm getting ready to do another tour. We do these tours, but this is an American tour. I'll be going to New York. New York is going to be the base for a couple weeks. I get a chance to go to Maine to see Nathaniel's wedding. Nathaniel is a dream builder. He's getting married, and that's a part of his dream becoming a reality. And then Mike, who is in New York, is the main purpose I'm traveling, because Mike is doing a workshop the weekend right before Labor Day. And I'm going to be facilitating a workshop with another facilitator. But Mike and I go to Maine, and then after Maine, we leave the wedding and we go to Vermont, where Rajni and Jasmine are two dream builders. So I get a chance to see those dream builders. And things are going to happen, because wherever I go, it's the kingdom of God come. And then Mike and I go back to New York and get prepared for the actual workshop. And then also, while I'm in New York, there's a group of Belizeans there that are impacting the nation of Belize. I get a chance to meet with, I call them ambassadors of Belize. And then I leave New York and I go to LA. And after LA, LA is a journey by itself, because I hit the ground in LA, and as soon as I get there, everyone that can grab me grabs me. And if you're a dream builder and you're in LA, everybody wants to see me in the short time I'm there. So I gotta give people a order of priority as far as seeing me. But I'm gonna be in LA, and I have my part of my mastermind is in LA. There's gonna be a breakfast in LA, and then I'm there for a wedding actually. And then on the Sunday, one of my billionaire dream builders is hosting us downtown LA, which is another exclusive meeting. And then I leave California and I go to Vegas, and then I'm back home in mid-September.
Wow. Well, I know you've been in the gym for the last couple of months since your last rendezvous, and I know you got that body prepared for that journey. I tell you, his agenda when he travels like that, John, it makes me tired just reading the agenda. Well, you heard all the things that he's got planned, and when
Exactly.
and when you can actually follow him out on social media, when he's on these tours, these adventurous tours, and I mean it is from one event to another, one airport to another, and he always sprinkles some great fun and fellowship and sightseeing in on his trips.
Awesome. Yeah.
But Wayne is like the light of the world that comes into a community, and things happen when he shows up with that high vibration. And
Can I ask you guys a question?
yeah,
So, and John knows me. John is always like, don't use your imagination. Okay, hold your imagination. But I'm like John the Baptist preparing the way, right? I'm
Mhm.
preparing the way for you and John, because honestly, I'm completing my tour of the United States. But with this done, we're talking about meeting in the nations. I was speaking to a friend of mine last night in Thailand, and he said, "Hey, you got to come to Thailand and spend some time." So my tours after these next few years are going to be like, I'll say, meet me in Africa, meet me in Australia, meet me in Latin America, meet me in Europe. So you guys are ready?
I stay ready.
well,
I ain't scared of you, Wayne. Not just messing.
well, well, we're going to be renewing our passport here soon, and But look, we always known you was going to go international on us.
Oh
So,
yeah.
but we were enjoying you while you were stateside. Well, that is wonderful, Wayne, and thank you so much for sharing all of that. And I tell you, when something about August, the month of August, when the month of August comes here, uh, things just seem to just jump off the cliff, and that's how it's been for Yolanda and I on our side of the coaching arena. And we just kicked off yesterday with a mentorship program with one of the HBCUs as a part of their orientation program for our freshmen. We started that on yesterday. We're excited about that. And we're also excited about a project that we are kicking off with the Ohio. It's an Ohio nonprofit group for potential workforce advocates between 18 and 21. And then we're also going to be launching one of our new programs here in the month of September. So getting a little pop from one of you guys. I don't know which one, but
Yeah, I was trying to check to see if it's somebody. Let me mute myself to see if it's me.
still getting a little feedback. I think it may be Wayne. All right, you guys, you can come back on, John. Wayne, I think it might be you.
All right, it might be some of the effects of the power.
Yeah, well, you
But I
good
hope it's
now.
not too disturbing.
Yeah, that must be yours.
I'll go.
Well,
I'll
just
mute
put it on mute.
myself.
Just put it on mute until you're ready to come on and speak, Wayne. Well, look, guys, today we, you know, in our little meeting last week, I told you guys that Yolanda and I in our community here at All Things Truly, we have declared the month of August as the month of mentorship, and we've been unpacking that subject ever since the 1st of August, talking to the community about first of all defining what mentorship is, and talking about the importance of it. And we've been getting some really good conversation going over on this side, and I thought it'd be very in alignment with what we're doing to bring three elite coaches here together and talk about, and for you guys to add to that subject, because I know you guys got some value add to that you can share with your community as well as mine. And so I want to continue that conversation and about the importance of mentorship and what that looks like in your, in your world and your involvement in it. And so, uh, just I'll just ask you, John. Um, Let me ask you a question, John. Where does mentorship play in your own personal life?
Yeah. So mentorship has really taken on a life of its own, a shape of its own for me. It was something that I didn't pay a lot of attention to earlier on in my life, right? And I definitely feel the effects of not, one, being mentored, and two, not opening myself up to mentor others, right? And so that's one of the things. Hopefully, we'll talk about this as we go on about, kind of setting up a mentor framework for yourself, because I think that you should have, you should create a flow, and mentorship is a great way to create a flow in your life. But yeah, so it is something that I take very serious. In the Maxwell team, we say that it matters who you learn from. You know, who you can learn from anyone and anything, right? So a child can teach you, but when it comes to like setting an intention to be empowered or to be influenced by someone, I don't let everyone, just because they want to mentor me, right? Uh, to take on that role, right? So I'm a little selective about those who I intentionally allow to speak into my life, right? Because mentorship, like I said, is one of those crucial elements. And I don't want, I haven't given your community my disclaimer. I've given you my disclaimer several times. I look just like my daddy. I talk just like my mama. I will talk you to death if you let me. So, you just stop me whenever you want to do when I'm going too far. But anyway, I'll say back in my Army days, right? One of the things that we always got evaluated on in your written evaluations, just in general, you had to say that you coach, train, and mentor, right? As a leader in the military, I coach, train, and mentor. I coach, train, and mentor. But we used to use those words synonymously. There was no distinction between coaching, training, and mentoring. And so we didn't get the power out of it because we didn't distinguish what am I doing when I'm mentoring versus when I'm training? What am I doing when I'm mentoring versus when I'm coaching? And mentorship is that crucial piece when you need to have someone who has expertise in what you're trying to accomplish. Good intentions is wonderful. I love you for your good intentions, but if you don't know what you're talking about, then you can't sign up to be my mentor. You just can't do it, right? Because if I'm in the ditch and you're in the ditch, neither one of us can pull each other out, right? So, but you have to have a level of expertise about that specific things. I have mentors as it relates to in my world. I have mentors as it relates to business development. I have mentors as it relates to formulating offers and actually speaking to the world through contribution. I have mentors when it comes to personal health. I just started another program where I'm going into 16 weeks for nutritional guidance. I got a specific mentor who's a dietitian who's helping me there, right? So you have to have that level of expertise and a willingness to share your experience through expertise, right? So, as opposed to coaching, you want to help me excavate what's in and find my own answers. But as a mentor, you got to say, you know what? Well, I found a measure of success doing this, so go do this, and then come back and tell me what your experience was, right? So you give them some more specific guidance on what direction they're going to go based off of experiential knowledge, not just off of excavating the vastness of the universe that's within each and every individual. So,
yeah. So what I'm hearing is that it's
I'll
not about having. So what I'm hearing is not about having a mentor, but in one's life, a healthy life is having mentors in these specialized areas.
Absolutely. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Wayne, what has been your mentorship experience?
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So my mentorship experience is tied into the mission that I have, right? Being a world changer. And at the age of 18 years old, a friend of mine had took me to a meeting, and the speaker was speaking on the topic "Up and Change Your World." And what the speaker was saying, the world is in a dilemma, and the world needs to change, but the only way the world could change is if people change. And the only way people can change is if the one who made them change them. So why don't you give your life to God and have God change you and you become a world changer? And at the age of 18, I signed up. I said, amen. So talking about knowing what you're doing and if you're doing it. So I've been a world changer for over 43 years. So I know that's what I've been doing because I started being a world changer. And when I say I'm a world changer, I'm not wanting to be one, but that's what I am. But what happened to me when I made that first decision, I said, God really provided for me what I call some spiritual nanny, because it was amazing that when I made that decision, I can name people, Vicky Sutar, Roy Boyne, Florence Dillett. I can name people who they came and treated me like a baby. They took care of me for the first few weeks. And when a baby is born, it messes up itself. It's not know how to walk. I had that foundation. And that's how I started my whole journey. And when I share my journey about being a life coach, I was teaching at 7, 8, 9 years old before I even started the spiritual journey. I would have candy, and invite my brothers to school and teach them. And so I was teaching as a kid, 8, 9 years old. Here I am, fast forward at 18, I became a world changer, and I was given these mentors. And honestly, I would love to use the word mentorship as synonymous with discipleship, because I think the greatest mentor that we could have think about is Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
And Jesus, who, and just this morning I was reading in Hebrews where he refers to himself as my brother. So that's my big brother. And it's not being sacrilegious. Jesus, my big brother, taught us how to mentor, how to disciple. And I guess I'm going ahead of ourselves here. We talk about how is it done and what is done, but that's how my whole mentorship, discipleship process starts. And I've never stopped doing just that. I'm doing that even now as I become a certified dream builder life coach. So mentorship, I'm very passionate about it. And as a result of that, that's why, for example, I can travel where I travel. And when I travel, I literally feel like the Apostle Paul, going from churches to churches, teaching and being a tent maker, because I have a business. The Apostle Paul had a business. He was a tent maker, and he was supplying what he needed as far as his resources, but he was going and parting in people's lives. And he said to Timothy, the things that you heard from me, the same commit to faithful men who's going to be able to commit it. And I think that's a key part of mentorship, not just a generation that follows, but the generation is going to continue, because there are many young people that I've mentored and I've discipled, and today they're now running the country of Belize.
Yes, absolutely. Wow. Well, so what I'm hearing from both of you is that mentorship is really it's more of the foundation of it is a relationship, mentor mentee,
Absolutely.
where one who has a specialized knowledge uh, and experience shares with another of a lesser knowledge and experience, and not just shares concepts and ideas, but there is this relationship that is born out of the mentor mentee coming together. And so I just know that in this current world we live in, that there's two thoughts here that we see, two models that we see out here, and that is, the traditional model is you go to school, you get educated, right, or you get an expertise, and then you go out on your own in the world and you make it, right. And then there's this other model, which I think um, what we're talking about here. The other model is really modeled best by uh, elite sports. I think the sports community really has this, really model this other option best, and that is that everyone needs a coach, everyone needs a mentor, and not only do they model that, but like we said earlier, it's not that you need a mentor, you need many mentors, many coaches, because if you look at the sporting community, on the professional level, they got they got multiple coaches for the highest, for those high elite players, for those that already perform at a high level. Why would you think they need a coach? So those are the two models out there. And then what I found is that and what the sporting community say is everybody needs mentors, everybody needs coaching, even the elite players. And it is through that we see the outcomes and the results, where people continue to just improve, to get better, right, at what they're doing. And so that's kind of the landscape that's out in the world that you see. John, what do you say about that?
Yeah, I think that's so, because I think because of the way that transformation takes place, one of the first, I know we all do this, in our coaching engagements. As coaches, we have to lay that perspective for our potential clients or our new clients, that this is going to be a marathon. It's not going to be a sprint, right? So you're not going to have a coaching session. and it's gonna, show up like a Marvel's movie, right? We have this big, made for TV moment, and then all of a sudden you just have this instant transformation. Like, it's gonna be a slow burn, because what you're doing is you're trying to make lasting change in your life.
Right.
And so when it comes to someone who can mentor because they have experience versus someone who has been trained or educated, I'm throwing air marks around that word educated there, right? Because it depends on what you mean when you say educated, right?
Right.
But somebody who has theory that has not been proven in their life, they still could probably speak some valuable things to you, but they can't tell you, or they can't speak to you from a perspective of, I'm going to inject faith and knowledge and encouragement into you this way on week 2 of this engagement, because I know you're going to be at this stage of transformation, and then week 8 at this stage, because you're going to have to be at this stage. I knew for myself, because I went through this transformation that you're asking me to mentor you through. It's going to feel probably like this on the first week, and probably like this on week 4, and probably like this on week 7. That's something that theory can't really get you. You have to have that experience under your belt.
Absolutely.
So it's important to have a mentor because of the way that transformation takes place.
Yes. Yes. So Wayne, what do you have to add to that?
I want to add to that, the concept of having, like John is saying, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. But am I back?
You back? Go ahead.
So it's like a relay where I'm passing the baton, because I think, and most of the clients that I work with, actually all of my clients that I work with, I tell them, I'm your coach for life. My envisioning is to see them go where I've been and go beyond where I've been, because as long as I'm here, I'm able to make a contribution. So it's a lifelong process, but it's like, even like your children, you want your children to go where you've been and beyond.
Yes.
And I think, being the mentor that I am, being the disciple maker that I am, and this is what Jesus said: the works that I do shall you do, and greater works than these. So if I am coming at warp speed and I'm passing the baton to you, and I say this to my clients, I'm coming at warp speed. I'm not playing. And I'm passing the baton to you as far as living the life that you dream. And I'm coming to you to take it. You should take it and go beyond where I've been. Sounds like Napoleon Hill.
Yes. Yes. Well, I know from my own personal experience that if it wasn't for certain mentors coming into my life at certain points in my life, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be sitting here right now. And
Right.
one of the darkest periods in my life, where I was spiraling downward and didn't know how to get out of it. The solution was God sent me a mentor, and I look back on that now, and that was really what really catapulted me um, to really become this this open vessel. I got to a point in my life where I said, I really don't understand life. I need help. I mean, I got down to
Wow.
the raw basics of, I don't understand what's going on. And it was by me connecting with a spiritual mentor that brought me out of that space and put me on this journey. Now it's been it's been 30 plus years that put me on this journey to where I'm sitting here right now, uh, as a result of being mentored. And I actually offer myself to the world as a mentor, as a coach, more specifically. And that was the saving grace for me. And that's why I'm so passionate about coaching. I know that without it, I wouldn't be probably celebrating, Yolanda and I just celebrated 33 years of marriage. That wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have multiple mentors in my life where relationships were concerned. Both of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just being honest with you. I wouldn't have these beautiful white teeth in my mouth if I had not gotten a mentor, an expert in the area of the dental work that I had to go through to with the issues that I was having. I wouldn't have these beautiful teeth in my mouth right now. So I had a mentor, and all along the way, health mentors, relationship mentors, professional mentors. I would not have been able to maintain a 39-year career with the same company in the same industry without having proper mentorship where my career was concerned. And so where I see, being in the personal development business for the last 6 years or so, what I see is this block for a greater part of the population that wants to go it alone, right? And taking that route where they stop improving, stop getting better in these all these parts of their lives, and which leads to a tremendous amount of frustration, and we see the frustration out in people's lives. And when you mention mentorship or coaching, or so the whole idea of taking investing in yourself and in your personal development, it's like there's a block there that I find that's out in the community, and then but the frustration only builds. So what do you say about that, John?
Well, I think we lost you for a little bit. At least on my end, I missed some of what you're saying, um, but if I got the gist of what you're saying, you're talking about the importance of having mentorship in very facet areas of your life. I think it is so critical. I think that in our industry, right, the various enterprises in our industry of personal growth and development, it's a lot to swim through, right? Because um, people will brand and market themselves as a coach when maybe they are a trainer, and they will market themselves as a mentor, but maybe they are something else. And as coaches, we feel into those different areas, right? So one of the things I do, in my intake sessions is I explain to them the environment in a coaching engagement, how it is different than a normal or natural conversation. And how we navigate through that is I ask permission. And so if I'm coaching someone and we hit an area where I think mentorship will serve him or her best, I will ask permission to step into that mentorship hat, put on that hat and move into that type of support. But it's only if I can contribute as a mentor for that person in that space. Because you do need to have mentors in every area of your life, and every mentor in every area of your life, as a requirement, they need to have that expertise. So for example, one of my expertise is time management, implementation of systems and processes, right? So I can't do IT installation for your business. I can't mentor you there, right? Because I don't have that expertise. But when it comes to implementing a project management framework for how your operations run, I can mentor you there, right? So let's say in a discovery meeting of a coaching session, the person realizes that one of the challenges or pain points that they've been experiencing, they're able to label it as, I need to get more organized. Then I can step out of that coaching arena and say, well, can I put on my mentorship hat, and can I walk you through the five management systems that I can put in your place for you. And now I'm more of a consultant, right? I'm now not a peer having a peer conversation. I'm someone speaking from expertise, telling you in order to experience a level of success, go do this thing specifically, right? And so, yeah, you have to have that level of expertise, and you have to, like you said, you have to have that in every area of life. And I think what we're seeing, I'm gonna piggyback off of what you were talking about in relationships, because my ears perked up when you said that, right? I think what we're experiencing is, my personal opinion, this is King EBRON version of the Bible. Pray for me till I get better. This is just my opinion, right? But I think that we are experiencing in popular culture a message that says mentorship is not needed. And then you have this deficit because you're not getting it. So then you have to make that new playing field all right. So then we say what we're experiencing is okay, which we have failed relationships. We have people who don't know how to even start into relationships. They don't know how to maintain relationships. And we're saying that is normal because we're operating from a mentorship deficit, you know? And so without having a relationship mentor or a framework in front of you saying, this is how we dealt with conflict in our relationship, you know, this is how we learn to let some things go. This is how we learn how to build agreements. This is how we learn how to honor ourselves in a relationship. This is how we learn how to honor our partner. So go do this. How about stop telling her that for 1 week and see what happens? Maybe you'll actually get invited to sleep back in your own bed again after you kind of chill out all doing this, right? And this is somebody speaking from experience, right? So I think that without mentorship, we find ourselves in a mutated, weakened state. And you're either going to stay in that state or you're going to elevate. And if you stay in that state, you have to make that state okay. But we can mitigate all of that by just finding a mentor, humbling ourselves to be influenced from an expert who has, you know, expertise, and then implementing some of those things to see if they work in your own life. I think you're muted.
I say now that we need to
Oliver.
package. That we need to package, John. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we
Okay.
go. Yeah,
I say that sermonette we need to
I can hear you.
package. We need to package that what you just said, because all that was so important, so important. And now my friend and fellow coach Wayne is somewhat specialized, because Wayne is kind of like a vision coach. He's a dream builder. He specifies in dream building.
Mhm.
And so Wayne, from your experience, where like, and John, you really kind of like said, okay, you put on the mentorship hat, you put on the coach hat, you put on the training hat. They're three somewhat different activities, and like, I'm like you and Wayne's like you. You know, somebody come to me about financial expertise, I don't have that. You know, but and it wouldn't be right for me to try to become that just to
Right.
maintain a relationship with someone. So Wayne, how do you, being a dream builder coach, where you're coming from a broader perspective, where you help people take their dream from conception into reality. So talk a little bit about your relationship to your clients, and where you put on the mentorship hat, the training hat, or the coaching hat, as John has described it. And I think Wayne might be a little frozen.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I think, yeah.
He
We
is.
have a little bit of technical difficulty
Yeah,
today.
yeah. Yeah, he had a power surge right before we came on, and so he didn't even have access to his normal device. He's using his phone, and he may still be having some Wi-Fi issues. So anyway, we'll bring him back on as soon as he jumps
Yeah.
back in. So like you said, the mentorships, like it's almost like it focuses on taking a person back to the fundamentals,
Right. Right.
because our fundamentals are not in place or our fundamentals are broken. And so mentorship kind of uh, reintroduces that and help a person to rebuild their fundamentals. Whereby when you put the coach hat on, that's more about performance, right? And
Mhm.
getting to outcomes and getting to different results. But it's hard to get to new outcomes, different results, better results, improved results if the fundamentals are broken.
So true.
Right.
So true.
So,
I love that delineation you just
right.
made.
So that's why, being a mindset coach who focuses on vision clarity is what Yolanda and I do.
Hmm.
That's exactly, we do a combination of the coaching and mentorship, because to not have fundamentals is to be in violation of the laws that govern the
Right.
universe, the laws that govern life, because you cannot break the law. You can only break yourself up against them. And so if you are
I
if
love
you
that.
are if you are misusing, right, your resources being your body, your mind, uh, uh, and your influence, if you are misusing it, or in other words, using it in a destructive way,
Hmm.
meaning
Hmm.
it is not good in it for you or it's not really good in it for everyone, then you're trying to break the law that governs life, which is the law of increase, which is the law of growth.
Yes.
And so our goal is to help people to understand the value of these dynamic tools they have, like that marvelous mind and that body that is no more than this energetic field, right? That
Hmm.
connects
Hmm.
with everything in the world of form, and how to take that and build a constructive life, right? Where you take all of this capacity and use it in constructive way to better humanity, to better oneself, and then the outcomes of that, or the byproducts of that, a lot of time, is the finances that people are looking for, or the impact that people are looking for. And so that's kind of our approach,
I love that.
in working with uh, individuals, groups, or organizations. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
this whole idea of living life alone, we were not designed to live alone.
Mm-mm.
We are designed to. We are this interdependent collection of talents, gifts, expressions, ideas, desires, that once we understand how all of that works, because life works in a certain way, once we understand the science of all of this.
Hmm. Hmm.
Let me
Yeah.
bring Wayne back in.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
Okay.
my apologies. Xfinity sent me a message. It's my internet that is having issues today.
Yep.
Ah, got you. Got you. Yeah.
But
Gotta love them.
I I know
So
you were
what?
talking about the dynamics of what we do as individuals, as far as our style of coaching and what we do, right?
Yeah. So just share, Wayne, how you utilize the mentor hat, the coaching hat, and maybe the training hat, as you are helping people bring their ideas or their dream into fruition.
Well, I like the term coach because when I think of a coach and an athlete, right? Normally, coaches would have actually done the discipline before they became coaches. Like like most basketball coaches had to have played basketball sometime, but they might not be playing basketball when they're coaching. And most coaches see in the players what they can see because they've been there. It's like LeBron James, when he was getting ready to leave high school, he chose NBA rather than college. Everything was already in LeBron James. So what the coaches did, they brought it out. So as a life coach, and particularly as I talk about dream building, which is living the purpose that God has for you, which is all encompassing. We talk about Miramar says we are from Brave Thinking Institute. We're actually coaching individuals to see their lives as a whole. I'm not a perfect. I'm not teaching them how to maintain their health or their finance or their relationship or their vocation, they're doing mindfulness principles and laws that we'll see these things come into reality. So it goes right across the board. So and from the onset, you know, as we coach individuals as dream builders coaches, we're not experts in any of the particular areas. But what we're expert in is thinking and mindfulness, and how we can practice laws to take the concepts from conception to manifestation, whatever it is. Because whether it's a client that is a retiree that is envisioning having their first time home, that takes the same principle of saying you're an entrepreneur and you want to start $1 billion business. It's the same laws and principles that are practiced. So as much as for example, right now I'm working with a former NFL player who's now a coach coaching kids. As his life coach, I'm coaching him reference to seeing the life that he would love to live, becoming a reality, whatever that life is.
Mhm.
So it's and this is why as a world changer, it's about us truly investing in ourselves to see that which is invested in us becoming manifested. So whereas as far as a corporation is concerned, it would start with the individuals in the corporation investing in their own lives. And that's the work that I would do. And I can do it on a scale of dealing with a couple. For example, I have couples that I'm coaching as dream builders, as their dreams as a couple become a reality.
Mm-hmm.
And as I see myself as this person that is doing this transformational work globally, it starts with an individual. Relationship is involved because, you know, as coaches, we take off the hat of being, like you say, okay, and you can actually direct to someone, this is what you can do. But at the end of the day, when you're coaching someone, for example, you have a personal trainer or a coach in the gym, who really does the work? Not the
Mm-hmm.
coach.
Right.
The player still has to decide to do what the coach is coaching them to do. So, and it's about transformation. So, where I come from and what I'm doing, it's about transformational work with the thinking, with the participation of the client. So, the dream goes from conception to manifestation, but we're talking about laws of the universe which are practiced whether you're going to be a leadership coach or whether you're going to be a financial coach or whether you're going to be an athletic coach. It's still the laws are going to be practical. When you look at people like Michael Jordan's coach, principles are taught that are reference to metaphysical principles, and these principles work whether you're coaching someone to find the love of their life or whether they're actually wanting to establish $1 billion business. The same principles will work right across the board.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's interesting, Wayne. You know, I used to have an issue with this term generalist, right? But really, you know, and not knocking specialities in niche markets, because definitely that's important. That's very important. But it's because of the work that we do, we support the initiation of that spark in them, right? Like we're not creating people in our own image. We're helping people to manifest themselves. So what they need often is a like you said, Oliver, we need to go back to our fundamentals. We need to go back to the basics of the laws of success, the laws that governs our behaviors and our results, and then just having a better understanding of that to find ourselves in compliance with those laws. Because I say that quote all the time that you said, that's why I started giggling. You know, you cannot break a law. You can't. You can only break yourself against that law, right?
That's right.
Because
That's
the
right.
law of gravity is the law of gravity. And you can take this apple and throw it up in the air, and you can shake your fist at the universe and says, I rebuke this apple coming back down. But if you don't get out from under it, it's going to dot your eye, because gravity is going to be gravity and it's
That's
going to
right.
do what it does, right?
Right.
So if you don't want to get injured by gravity, you find yourself in compliance with it, right? Because, you know, like as I think Jim Rohn says, you know, if a man steps off of a 10-story building, you know, steps out of a window, you know, he's not going to get a do-over because he didn't know any better, right? Gravity is still going to be gravity, right?
That's
It's
right.
going to pull you. So we got to find ourselves in compliance with that laws. And we're not, that's why I threw air quotes earlier around the word education when I was saying, because many of our educational systems don't introduce us to this body of knowledge and these adventures, these pathways of success They don't teach us this stuff. I didn't know anything about, the law of transmutation and the law of vibration and the law of this and the law of that. I didn't know anything about that until I became a coach and I started studying, right?
Right.
And still learning new ways for myself, new to me, of being in compliance with those laws.
Yes.
Right. And that governing my behavior, and again, ultimately governing my results. So, being able to be that spark, to be that support, to help people kind of really step into themselves. Sometimes, specialized knowledge is or speciality in these areas that we traffic in is helpful, but sometimes just having a general understanding
Yep.
of the way things work,
Hey,
right?
just think of just think of your medical experience. You don't just go to a specialist. You have to go. You have to go to your primary care doctor first, right?
Very good.
And get referred to a specialist, because what the primary care doctor does is that he kind of checks the fundamentals, right? And it's through checking the fundamentals is where you discover that there need to bring a specialist on, and then they refer you to the specialist. And so what I find and what I have found in working with the communities that I work in, like you said, John, people have no idea how the universal laws work. They've never been trained, never been taught. You're not going to get it in the general education systems. In fact, the knowledge, the way I got it, I had to pay thousands of dollars.
Say that.
I had to pay thousands of dollars, and Wayne would say the same thing. I had to pay thousands of dollars, to get this general knowledge, this universal knowledge of the different scientific, metaphysical laws that is governing life. So in other words, you can think what you want, but you don't get to determine the outcome. You can take whatever action you want, but you don't get to determine the outcome. The outcome is based on a law. And you know what? And that's great, because if we know that the law is in operation and it works, and that when we align with it, we can be assured of certain results, that is our salvation. Because now I can use my body, use my thoughts, use my feelings, use my emotions, and use my actions to get to the results I want.
Yes.
Because what? I'm in alignment with the law that governs growth, development, discovery, right?
Absolutely.
And our elder brother Jesus said it this way. He said that there ain't but one law, and that's the law of love.
Yeah.
Right? And when you hear the phrase the law of love, we think something else. But basically what he's saying is there is but one source to life, and it works in a certain way. And when you discover the certain way that it works, he said, when you find that, he said, you have found a treasure, and you'll be willing to go and sell everything, because you know now that you have laid hold to the goose that lays all the golden eggs. So if you want a relationship, get the relationship consciousness. If you want good health, get the health consciousness. If you want wealth, get the wealth consciousness. Because all of it is in consciousness. In other words, it's in the knowing. It's in an expanded awareness. And that's what coaching and mentoring does. It expands the awareness of the one that is limited in what they've been able to achieve, one that is stuck in their present results, one that is frustrated, unhappy, don't know how to get out of it. The understanding universality of where you are, the science and the art of living is what is needed. And that's why mentorship, coaching, training, it is so vital to your happiness and fulfillment. Because without it, if you try to go in this life alone and go by the seat of your pants, that's why you see the greater part of the population so angry, so afraid, so operating so far under their potentiality.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I'm glad you brought it back to mentorship, Oliver, because, you know, knowledge has been largely or more than we've ever seen before. Knowledge has been unleashed.
yes.
And there is, when I was 16 years old, I volunteered at the local health clinic. I was very interested in medicine. I was in these student health association bodies. So I got the opportunity to kind of do like a little bit of mini intern. And there was this lady that came in to the clinic, and all of the nurses set me up. People ain't right. But anyway, so they let me intake this lady, right? And she was just going in. She had all this terminology and the blah, 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 this, that, and you know, she had all these conditions that needed to be, you know, checked out. And so I'm over there trying to kind of gather all this stuff that she's throwing at me. And the nurses are over there in the corner giggling at me, right? Because they knew that's what she does all the time. And so once we finally kind of got her settled and got her to where she was happy and left, you know, with the bottle of aspirin or whatever we gave her, right? I asked her what was that all about, and it was like, well, she obviously like has a subscription to a medical magazine, but she comes in every day, you know, kind of spouting off this medical terminology and this new condition that she has, and it's, you know, I feel like my aorta is enlarged on the right side of my brain, and like that kind of foolish, like, you know, my pinky toe is vibrating inside of my liver and all that, you know, all this kind of. But she had enough knowledge to not know anything,
Right.
but to have a very intent conversation with you, right? And I think generally speaking, that's what we're seeing in the world today. Like the understanding, particularly when it comes to attraction and vibration, there's a lot of conversation out there about that, but without someone who is skilled and has experience in it, you've got just enough knowledge to get yourself in a whole lot of trouble. You know, so
Yes.
that's another thing about mentorship is so important, especially in this day and age, because globalization and technology is opened up a big playing field for people who have never learned the rules of the game.
Yes. Absolutely. And I'm telling you, it is. You know, that's why uh, Wayne and John, Yolanda and I have dedicated this entire month to this subject because it's such a vital subject. And it's not about us getting clients to sign on with us or you, or that's not why we built this platform. This is about adding value and building goodwill in the communities that we serve by expanding people's awareness and giving people a insight into what might be the roadblock to your uh, unfolding, to your next step, to your getting unstuck. And because whether you know, we already realize that we help more people than we would ever know just by
Yeah.
coming out here, because
Yeah.
that's why our heart, that's our passion. The three of us would do this and we have done this in some fashion, even if it wasn't a profession. It just happened to be not only our passion but our profession also. And so it's about building value and goodwill. And I think it's a critical conversation to have. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us, John. Wayne, you always inspire us with your visioneering and your actions, your adventurous life. And so, Wayne, can you give us give us a closing word there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
What comes to mind is one of the fundamental principles that we learned, you and I learned, and John connects with it too, is that the fact that everything is first a thought before it becomes a thing. Being thinking beings, and we're creating because we are creators. Everything starts with
We
a thought.
lost your way.
And as we think of being the coaches and the mentors and we think of what it would be like for us to do what we want to do, and as we have this time together, we can see where we would want to go as a part of the collaboration. And my percent, and it's going to be this or something greater still.
Thank you, Wayne. You were a little crackery there, but hopefully it'll come out much clearer on the replay. And John, you want to give us some kind of closing wisdom there?
Well, I would love to just give a quick little CTA, a little call to action as it relates to mentorship. For those who are listening to this, think about. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Think about setting up your 3-3-3, and this is what I mean by this: find 3 people to mentor you in a area where you need experiential knowledge and experience, right? So find 3 people to mentor you. Let's say maybe, and because we're rounding out this half of the year, find for the 4th quarter, maybe even, thinking into how you're going to start off 2024. Think about opening yourself up and interviewing 3 people to mentor you. Find 3 peers that's going to hold you accountable for the current actions that you're really working on for the next iteration. Let's say, again, if this is the top of the year for 2024. And then open yourself up to 3 people that will be mentored by you. Send out that energetic invitation into the world that you're open to mentor individuals as it relates to whatever area of expertise that that you operate in and that you can add value to people. So set up your 3-3-3, be mentored, find your peer accountability group, and find 3 people that will be mentored by you, because all of those different veins will feed into your personal growth and development.
Oh, wow. That's some great counsel there, John. Great counsel. And as we get prepared to close here for another session of our Coach's Corner, and John, thank you so much for being on. Wayne, as always, you are the visionary. You are the dreamer. And hopefully when we come back next time, that power surge will have subsided. And you'll be able to use your regular device and have the quality sound that you normally do. Well, it's really not about your current results. It's not about your current reality or your current outcome. It's really about it's really about how you can step into that next version of yourself. It's about the potentiality that is in you. And I know that the coaches here in this session, we are all about helping you bring that potentiality to surface. And so if there anything here today resonated with you, or if anyone here resonated with you, you can reach out to us individually. You know how to get with me. Those in the communities that I'm speaking in. John EBRON is, again, a coach and consultant, and his expertise is in training. I mean, he is an excellent trainer, and you can reach out to John. John, what is your simple contact or email?
Yeah. So you can email me at coaching@johnebron.com, JOHNEBRON, all one word. You can find me on IG. Coach Ebron is my handle on IG. And yeah, so you can reach out. Those are probably 2 primary ways. And of course, you can find me on LinkedIn as well. Just do a quick search for my name, John Ebron. And we would love to support you in any way we can.
Thanks, John. And of course, Wayne is a regular co-host here. And you know that you can reach out to Wayne by Wayne. How can we reach out to you? With your email?
What's that?
We can reach out to you via email, correct? Or your Sankofa Mastermind, or Wayne Moody. How do you? What is your general contact? Is your email? Okay, he's still a little crackery.
Didn't hear what you said.
How do we reach out to Wayne Moody?
Me on Instagram, Facebook. On Facebook, it's Wayne A. Moody. Instagram is WAYNAZ Supermodel.
Wayne A. Supermodel. Yes. All right. Okay.
And
Well. Okay. Well, that's going to end our session today of Your Coach's Corner, and we'll be back next month with another session. And we invite you to join us then. And until then, we'll see you. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, John.